Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the High Times podcast here. Armando back again in the car. I guess we gotta get used to me being in the car because, once again, we were actually, me and Alex were gonna film today, but I was only able to film in the morning, and he was only able to film at night. So, once again, schedules didn't line up, but it does not stop me from making my promise, at least, and saying that I'm gonna film every Mondays and Wednesdays now. So first of all, happy Halloween to everyone out there watching this on Halloween. Hopefully this video will get up. But it's 2:17 right now, so hopefully this video could be up no later by 3:30. And that's the plan, it's a Halloween. We're about to make some moves tonight, hang out with a couple friends, probably go out, enjoy it. For you guys out there, hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Hope you guys have some crazy costumes out there. Hope you guys are, just being safe as well. So, the trading deadline for the NFL is over, and by the title of the video down below, I'm gonna give you a couple recaps of the whole trading deadline and what are my opinions on some of the trades that went down this season and this week in particular. So, the first trade that happened this week was the Amari Cooper trade to the Dallas Cowboys. So, my opinion on the whole Amari Cooper trade was, I feel like a lot of people have basically given up on Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper came into the league, I want to say about 2 years ago, and he came off the bat. He made the Pro Bowl in his rookie season, So he's had 2 1,000-yard seasons, and lately, the last couple of years, he just has declined. And I feel like the reason is that he declined was because of the gameplay of Derek Carr. Derek Carr also he had an MVP caliber season a couple years ago when the Raiders went 13-3, I believe, and then he got injured, and that injury definitely put a break to his career and a break to his production as well, and that's shown to Amari Cooper as well. Amari Cooper hasn't had those numbers in a while, and he doesn't really have a consistent quarterback play with Derek Carr. A lot of the whole Raiders front organization, they're lost for words. They hired John Gruden, and they've been trading. They traded Khalil Mack early in the season. We mentioned that back in week 1 video. And look what he's done with the Chicago Bears. Khalil Mack is probably on paper right now, probably the best outside Russian, the best linebacker in the league, and he has a potential to be the defensive player of the year. So far this season, I would consider him. He definitely has my vote. So for Amari Cooper going to the Cowboys, they offered him the Cowboys traded a first-round pick for Amari Cooper. Now, a lot of people were criticizing that. They're like, Amari Cooper's worth a first-rounder when certain other wide receivers who potentially be better than him were only traded for third, second-rounders, which I will get into a little bit later in the video. But as far as Amari Cooper, in my opinion, there's no winners or losers in this trade. From the Dallas Cowboys perspective, the Dallas Cowboys really needed a wide receiver. Ever since Dez Bryant left, they haven't had great wide receiver play. As of right now, before Amari Cooper, the Dallas Cowboys were relying on Cole Beasley. And, Cole Beasley isn't horrible. I actually have my laptop here. Let's pull up some Cole Beasley stats really quick. But as far as Cole Beasley, he's not horrible, but Cole Beasley shouldn't be your number 1 option, guys. Or in general, Cole Beasley, he has that one game a year when he goes off. So far this season, he has 33 receptions, 350 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And, as the number 1 receiver, only having those amount of receptions and those amount of yards, that's not going to cut it, For example, just other wide receivers in their division. Let's see. I don't want to pull up someone like Julio Jones because obviously Julio Jones has a lot more receptions and gets a lot more yards than someone like Cole Beasley. But a player similar to Amari Cooper, let's go to his old teammate, Michael Crabtree, for example. Michael Crabtree this season on the Baltimore Ravens, he has 38 receptions, 440 yards, and 2 touchdowns as well. So, he has 100-plus more yards than Cole Beasley. And Michael Crabtree is not even the number 1 option in Baltimore. He's the number 2 option behind John Brown. And, for example, John Brown this season, 586 yards for 4 touchdowns. So that's a big gap for a number 1 receiver to the Cowboys' number 1 receiver, obviously. John Brown's not the best receiver in the league, but he's being considered as the number 1 option in Baltimore. and Cole Beasley was their number one option in Dallas. So, you know, that's not a good for a number one option. So I feel like for that reason being, that the Amari Cooper trade wasn't a bad trade for the Dallas Cowboys. You know, yeah, they gave up a first round pick, but they're getting back a first round draft pick. A lot of people forgot that Amari Cooper was a first round draft pick a couple years ago, and he played like a first round draft pick his first couple years in the league. But like I said, but the whole thing is Dak Prescott any better than Derek Carr? And I personally don't like Dak Prescott. I'm not a big fan of Dak Prescott's gameplay. And let's see. But, I mean, if you look at it, Dak Prescott produced when he had Dez Bryant. So, Dak Prescott this year has 1,400 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. See, that's not great at all. And as far as Derek Carr has a total of 2,000 yards, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. So, Derek Carr has more passing yards. But the thing with Derek Carr wasn't throwing the ball to Amari Cooper, guys. If you look at his stats here, look at the stats. Amari Cooper was targeted 4 times this year when he had 2 receptions or less. 4 times this year. So if you're throwing the ball, if your number one option is only getting 2 receptions a game, I mean, who do you blame that on? Amari Cooper, or do you blame that on Derek Carr? I know Amari Cooper has that. The pass of dropping balls, but I just feel like Derek Carr wasn't looking his way. You know, I don't watch a lot of Raider games to understand if Derek Carr was throwing in the ball, but I'm assuming Derek Carr wasn't throwing in the ball because Derek Carr has struggled this year, and, you know, it happens. So, for the Dallas Cowboys, I feel like they had to give that first-round draft pick up. Yeah, they could have got better value out of him, better value as a wide receiver standpoint, because, you know, a couple wide receivers were traded, and there's a couple better wide receivers than Amari Cooper that got traded. But, I mean, the Dallas Cowboys had to capitalize. You know, the Dallas Cowboys were struggling. They haven't had a wide receiver. Terrence Williams not doing the job. Allen Hurns is not doing the job. Cole Beasley is doing the job, but you don't want to rely on Cole Beasley, to be honest, guys. Jason Witten's out of there. Dez Bryant's out of there. Miles Austin, you know? That was the last time the Dallas Cowboys had a great number 2. It was Miles Austin. So I feel like this trade benefits both parties. You know, Dallas Cowboys get a nice wide receiver in Amari Cooper, who has a lot of upside. You know, he's still very young, and he still has a potential to be an elite wide receiver in this league. And the Raiders get a first-round pick. You know, it seems like the Raiders are tanking. I believe they've only won 1 game this season. So maybe that's what the Raiders are going into rebuild mode with the whole John Gruden era. Maybe they just want to start over, and that's not a bad thing at all. So, on to the next trade here. The Philadelphia Eagles acquired Golden Tate from the Detroit Lions for a 3rd-round draft pick, I believe. Let me pull out that. I believe it was a 3rd-round draft pick. Yeah, Golden Tate trades to the Eagles. Lions received 3rd-round draft pick. Now, guys, so who's better, Golden Tate or Amari Cooper? I mean, so far this season, Golden Tate's having a good year. But, I mean, my argument to that is Golden Tate has a quarterback who's a great quarterback, in my opinion. Matt Stafford is not a bad quarterback, you know. He throws for yards. Yeah, he throws a lot of interceptions. But he has those clutch moments when he's able to throw the ball downfield. And this season, Golden Tate has 44 receptions, 517 yards, 3 touchdowns. And I believe he's a fantasy monster this year. Golden Tate has had 20 points, 23, 32, 10, 12. Now, you know, he kind of fell off a little bit. But I feel like that's the deal with the Detroit Lions and Kenny Golladay over there. You know, they're really utilizing that rookie or that young player a lot more than they are Golden Tate. So I feel like for the Eagles, this is something the Eagles needed desperately, guys. The Eagles, once again, another team. I feel like the whole NFC East just struggles with wide receivers. The best, you know, all they have is OBJ and the Giants. I'm not a big fan of Sterling Shepard. The Cowboys, we just went over their wide receivers. The Eagles are relying on an injury-prone Alshon Jeffrey, who is great. He's a good wide receiver. He did his thing when he was with Chicago, but like I said, he's very injury-prone. He misses a lot of games, and it's hard to really depend on someone who's going to get hurt a lot. And the second option is Nelson Agholor, who's not bad, but not someone you want to utilize around you. You know what I'm saying? Nelson Agholor also drops a lot of balls, so it's not something that, you know, I would rather have Golden Tate than Nelson Agholor, and the Eagles capitalized on it. You know, I feel like they got him for cheap, a 3rd-round pick. You know, Amari Cooper went from a 1st-rounder, so I feel like from the Detroit Lions front office, I probably would have started off with the 1st-rounder. You know, I see these teams that are really desperate for wide receivers, and the Eagles are desperate for a wide receiver. You know, their number 1 option right now before Golden Tate arrived was Zach Ertz as a tight end. You know, Zach Ertz was getting those looks more than Nelson Agholor was. And like I said, they like to check down the ball a lot too with Smallwood and Corey Clement. So I feel like this trade right here for the Eagles definitely boosts their wide receiver core, and I feel like it helps Carson Wentz as well. You know, Carson Wentz likes to throw the ball downfield. He likes to throw those balls. And last year he relied on Torrey Smith, you know, who won the Super Bowl with him last year. He's not with the team this year. He's obviously with Carolina. But I feel like this whole Golden Tate acquisition is really going to help the Eagles down the season because, I mean, the Eagles are struggling. Early on in the year, the people considered the Eagles as a Super Bowl hangover. But I feel like that had to do with Carson Wentz barely coming back from injury. And their defense, their secondary hasn't been that well. You know, I actually had the Eagles defense on my fantasy team to start the season, but I've transitioned to starting the Browns defense every week. So far the Eagles are 4-4. You know, I know they won their last game. They're 2-2 on the road, 2-2 at home. Obviously 4-4. So they're second place in the division, but the Washington Redskins are 5-2 with Alex Smith, and the Washington Redskins also have no wide receiving core, but their defense is playing up to par, and Alex Smith is getting the job done, as well as a washed-up Adrian Peterson. So that's crazy to think that Adrian Peterson is leading the Washington Redskins. I would never thought that. But yeah, so for the Eagles, I feel like it benefits them. You know, Golden Tate is definitely going to help them down the road for the rest of the season. As far as the third-round draft pick, I mean, it's useless at this point. The Eagles are going to be one of the better teams in the division, so it's going to be a late third-round draft pick. So for the Eagles, I feel like that was definitely a good trade for them. Another trade that happened was Demaryius Thomas to the Houston Texans. And I don't exactly know who they traded him for. Let me pull up exactly so I get you some credible information here. They traded him for, I believe, 2019 fourth-round draft pick. So, Demaryius Thomas went for a fourth-round draft pick. So, I mean, if we grab all the wide receivers, Amari Cooper, Golden Tate, and Demaryius Thomas, who would you rather have? You got someone who went for a first-round draft pick. You went someone who went for a third-round draft pick, and Demaryius Thomas went for a fourth-round draft pick. In my opinion, guys, comment down below, please. I'd rather have Amari Cooper on my team. If I'm starting the team right now and I'm picking any of those three wideouts, I'm choosing Amari Cooper just based off upside. I feel like Golden Tate's been in the league for a while. He's at his peak right now. He's at his climax, and I don't see Golden Tate being any better than what he is right now. And as far as Demaryius Thomas, he's on his decline, guys. Demaryius Thomas, he's been in the league since I believe Jay Cutler might have been his quarterback when he was a rookie. And he had the Peyton Manning area where he did well, but now he's just on a decline, in my opinion. You know, obviously, he wasn't doing his thing with the Broncos this season with Case Keenum. Emmanuel Sanders definitely improved this season. And Courtland Sutton, I feel like there's another reason why they were so easy to trade Demaryius Thomas, because they have Courtland Sutton, a rookie who's, you know, he's performed well in those opportunities that he's been getting. And he's actually been getting the same amount of snaps as Demaryius Thomas. So, a fourth-round pick for the Broncos, I mean, it's a win for both sides as well. You know, Broncos, like I said, Demaryius Thomas is towards the end of his peak. You know, he's been in the league for a while now. We've seen what he's done, but I feel like the Denver Broncos see him declining. And so I feel like a fourth-round pick, I mean, you know, get what you can get out of Demaryius Thomas. And for the Houston Texans, they needed this. You know, Will Fuller just went out with a 20 ACL, and Kute, I don't know his first name, but Kute, you know, their slot receiver, the third option, you know, he hasn't been performing. He had those couple big games, but he's been on the decline as well. And DeAndre Hopkins is the other one. But, I mean, having DeAndre Hopkins on one side and having Demaryius Thomas on the other side, you know, that's going to be some mismatches for those cornerbacks. Because you're going to want to double team DeAndre Hopkins, which, you know, benefits Demaryius Thomas a little bit more. And with a young quarterback like Deshaun Watson, who likes to throw the ball, I mean, that helps Demaryius Thomas, guys. You know, Deshaun Watson likes to go downfield. He likes to chuck the ball. He's a very out-of-the-pocket quarterback. You know, he moves out of the pocket. He's on the run. He throws the ball on the run a lot. And I feel like Demaryius Thomas is going to help this Houston Texans team. And for the Houston Texans in general, I know they're in a very weak AFC South. You know, right now they're in first place, 5-3. The next closest team is below 500, which is 3-4, 3-5, and the Jaguars, a very disappointing Jaguars this season, which I feel like should have made a couple trades for some quarterbacks, for like Teddy Bridgewater maybe, but I don't know if the Saints would have given him up that easy. But they're 3-5, so as of right now, it's the Texans division to run away with, and I feel like Demaryius Thomas only helps the Texans offensive cord. You know. Like I said, they're probably not going to utilize him as like Will Fuller was, only because Will Fuller's a lot faster, a lot younger, and he's able to get down the field a little bit more. But I feel like Demaryius Thomas is definitely going to help this Houston Texans offense for sure. Because this year, Demaryius Thomas, I spelled his name wrong. Sorry about that. This year, Demaryius Thomas is that's not right. Oh, wrong one. He has 36 receptions, 402 yards for 3 touchdowns. That's not bad. That's not a bad stat line. At this rate, he could finish the year with about 800 yards, 900 yards, about 50 receptions, and maybe a couple more touchdowns. So I feel like Demaryius Thomas, it's a good pickup for Houston. I know they're actually playing Denver this week, and so it'd be pretty cool to be able to see him play this week. So hopefully he picks up that playbook really well, and Houston utilizes him this week against Denver. And actually, I would start him. If you have him on your fantasy league, and you will check Sunday morning if he's active and he's going to be involved in the offense, I would definitely consider starting someone like Demaryius Thomas this week. So like I said, guys, out of all those 3 wide receivers, I would rather have Amari Cooper only because of upside. He's a lot younger, and he's proven himself as an elite wide receiver. He came into the league, had those 2 1,000-yard seasons off the bat, and I feel like, he could definitely benefit a couple teams down the road. So, as far as the defensive side, I know the Jaguars traded Dante Fowler Jr. to the Houston Rams, which to me was crazy. Why make the Rams better? The Rams are 7-0, even though they should have lost that game to the Packers, but Ty Montgomery fumbled that ball. Alex, if you're watching this, my man, he actually went to the game, guys. Alex actually went to the Packer game this past Sunday against the Rams, and I know that he was heartbroken, bro. Come on. Ty Montgomery fumbled the ball, and, the Packers didn't waste any time. They traded him to the Ravens for an old pick. I don't even know who they traded him for. It's not really that big of a difference, in my opinion. Ty Montgomery is not a great asset. He could get you a couple handoffs, up catches out of the backfield. So, I guess it helps them for the Ravens. But, yeah, Dante Fowler Jr. to the Rams. They add another pass rusher to that already great offensive line they have over there with Sue, Aaron Donald, Brockers, and now Dante Fowler Jr. coming out the edge. And Dante Fowler Jr. is also a first-round pick. He just hasn't produced well with Jacksonville Jaguars, and I was kind of surprised by this move. Basically because maybe the Jaguars are giving up this season. Their defense has been exposed. We've seen a numerous of teams. We saw Dak Prescott throw all over the Jaguars defense, which was very surprising to me because I was really big on the Jaguars defense this year, or Jaguars in general. I believed in Blake Bortles. I was like, no, why are you criticizing him? He took you guys to the playoffs last year. He took you down, almost won the AFC Championship game, but he struggled this year. So that's why I was surprised that the Jaguars didn't go after a quarterback. But this trade kind of opens a red flag for me as far as the Jaguars, because maybe they think rebuilding mode? Not rebuilding mode, but maybe there's a lot of good quarterbacks coming out of this year's draft, guys. You have the guy from Oregon. You have Shea Patterson coming out of the draft. You have Will Grier. Greer, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I feel like I'm forgetting a big one. I think Jake Fromm from Georgia might be coming out of the draft this year. Who knows if Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama comes out of the draft this year? Well, I wouldn't risk a left-handed quarterback. There's another good quarterback, but I'm blanking out right now. Let's see. Quarterback prospects coming out of the draft this season. Let me Google this really quick. But yeah, like I said, the Jaguars, they traded him. Obviously, he wasn't getting the production the Jaguars wanted. So, it's a risk for the Rams. They definitely needed him. They didn't need him at all. But, it helps them out. The Rams are already good. I saw a tweet saying the Rams are the Golden State Warriors of the NFL. And it's true. The Rams are 7-0, and there hasn't been a team who's, beaten them yet. But I feel like the Rams are going to lose this weekend against the New Orleans Saints. And Drew Brees, if you're watching this, man, you cost me a fantasy win this week, bro. You only put up 6 points. Really, bro? Really? 6 points against they played the Minnesota Vikings, but Drew Brees, come on, bro. 6 points. College quarterbacks. I'm sorry, guys. I spelled it wrong. Quarterbacks, 2019 draft. There he is. Yeah, but Drew Brees only put up 6 points, so, come on, brother. So, let's see. Justin Herbert out of Oregon. Oh, Drew Lock. There we go. Out of Missouri. Drew Lock's actually coming out of the draft this season, and, he might be able to fill up that Jacksonville scheme. So, those are the top 4 trades that, on the top of my head, that really made a difference in they traded Eli Apple to the Saints, but that's not really it's not a big trade. But so those are the 4 trades that happened, and I feel like for all the teams that traded, it helps them for that playoff push. As far as the Cowboys, I feel like they just needed another wide receiver just to make it, just to be relevant again. For the Cowboys are slowly falling off. Dak Prescott, red flag. If I'm a Cowboys, I go get a quarterback. I don't like Dak Prescott. He's not that good. Eagles, Golden Tate. He's going to make the offensive core better. Houston, they need to run away with that division. If they believe Demaryius Thomas can be the reason why they run away with that division, then go for it. I feel like Demaryius Thomas is not bad. He's obviously out of his prime, but he could still be relevant. To me, Demaryius Thomas is kind of like a very, very cheap version of what Randy Moss was when he went to the Patriots. Yeah, I know. You're like, what? Randy Moss was a beast when he went to the Patriots. But yeah, Randy Moss was towards the end of his career when he went to the Patriots. Just Tom Brady just made him relevant again, and Tom Brady made him good. So maybe Deshaun Watson could, possibly make Demaryius Thomas good. I mean, who knows? But I feel like Demaryius Thomas is going to have a better use of he's going to finish off the season well with the Houston Texans. And just for this week in general, as far as the whole fantasy starts and sits, I wish, I don't have my notes for that right now. I'm not going to just ramble a bunch of names. But like I said, Demaryius Thomas is playing, Golden Tate's playing, and if Amari Cooper's playing, I consider you starting all 3 of those wide receivers just to kind of see where they're at. And also another little advice for you guys. If you're in a keeper league if you're in a keeper league and like your season's not where it wants to be right now, start trading for those keepers, guys. Go ahead and start flipping people for those keepers. A couple weeks ago, I actually traded Odell Beckham Jr. for Calvin Ridley and a tight end, because I needed a tight end. You guys know I need a lot of tight ends. So I got a solid tight end back, and I got Calvin Ridley. And the reason why I included Calvin Ridley in that trade was because maybe a possible keeper for next year. I mean, right now I'm 4-4. I'm in second place in my division. We have 2 different divisions. I'm in second place. And honestly, I didn't need OBJ, to be honest with you guys. I had a great wide receivers, and I'm considering picking up Philip Lindsay right now for the Denver Broncos for Calvin Ridley or John Brown. Because imagine my keepers next year as James Conner and Philip Lindsay just straight off the bat, with Conner in like the 13th round and like Lindsay in the 16th round. Like, I have my running back 2 with James Conner and a flex with Philip Lindsay. So definitely not bad. So if you guys need any advice for any trades or even if you guys have any sit-em stardoms advice, please comment down below and I will get back to you guys. I know I didn't do sit-em stardoms this week. I just did recap of the trade deadline. But still, if you guys want those, please comment down below. And if you want a video, comment down below. I might be able to get that out today, latest tomorrow morning. I just got to see if you guys comment today or tonight. I'd be able to get that out for you guys. Just for you guys, I always make it happen. Like I say, we're out here grinding. I think we're up to 50 subscribers now. Hopefully, we get that up to like 60 by the end of this video, guys. Or just a couple more views, I'm trying to make it happen. I'm definitely utilizing the accessories or the availability I have, recording from my iPhone just to hear in the car, just so I could get some content for you guys. We're out here just trying to get that. And I hope Alex is doing the same, Alex, if you're watching this, like I said, just pick up the camera and record yourself, my man. Because I'm going to change the name to Armando Beltran's Podcast if you don't record a video by like the end of this week. And that's facts, no cap. So with that being said, guys, hope you guys like this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe down below. Like I said, please share this video. Be a part of the family. Be a part of the High Times Podcast family. And with that being said, enjoy your guys' Halloween. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I hope you guys go get your fantasy dubs in Week 9. And once again, go Chargers, baby. Going to the Super Bowl this year. Peace out, guys.